What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 32 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Mannfred von Carstein Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Vlad von Carstein faced off against Archaon the Ever-Chosen and obliterated most of his army, with Archaon running back towards some of his other forces, but frankly, they are looking, compared to his original force, which was pretty crazy, they are looking to be fairly weak and maybe not worth chasing down. There is that force of Arbaal the Undefeated running around here, so if we can catch them, or catch him rather, and we certainly might. We also were able to bring down Tamarkand with Elvira Skellan and Mannfred von Carstein working together. It did work out nicely for us, though Tamarkand was an absolute menace on the battlefield, and hardly surprising. This time around, we've got the big ol' invasion of ULTHUAN to begin with. Heinrich Kemmler is waiting to attack the Shrine of Asuryan, and Alistar the White Lion and his full stack, plus the pretty elite stack of the garrison of the shrine itself, which should be pretty fun for Kemmler and his ghosts. And we got a little bit of help as Noctilus and Arcan the Black, our trusty vassals, have arrived to actually help us out, finally. Maybe not so trusty, but they're helping. And it does look like Luther Harkin is moving this way as well. Interesting. He hasn't been doing anything down south, so I suppose maybe he can help with ULTHUAN. Not that we really need the help, but not that we're going to bother with, destroying the entire thing, as we've got, what, maybe 3 episodes remaining of the entire campaign. 2 books, 1 Nagash is our final battle, and whatever other battles we get up to in between. Anyway, Kemmler, I promised you a big fight, and a big fight you shall have. Shrine of Asuryan is your goal here. Pyrrhic victory, casualties high, lots of range units, 3 Phoenix Guard. Phoenix, decent amount of flyers, lots of rangers for some reason. They're not going to be a concern, though they are a little bit more buffed in terms of their melee attack and defense than I was expecting here, but that's probably nice. And another unit of White Lions. Plus, of course, Alistar to lead them. Should be pretty interesting. Let's see if he can handle Krell, shall we? Go.
My legions advance. Bring me bone. Bring me flesh. Oust them for Kemmler, my pretties.
Alrighty, here we go. Kemmler sounds like he's ready to have an enjoyable time, and we've got the Barrow Guardians summoning ready. 4 units available from the 4 White Kings that we have, plus of course Krell to lead them all. A pretty big old pile of units that can distract enemy armies, while the stalking ghosts can move elsewhere and hit the enemy from a different direction. For example, by the looks of it, a unit of White Lions has decided to flank us, but in doing so has run into the 2 units of Hex Wraiths and the 1 Black Coach that were on the right flank. And of course the White Lions, this is probably a pretty bad matchup for them, as they have, bleeding damage and armor piercing against the Hex Wraiths. Yeah, they get torn apart like nobody's business and are out of here very, very quickly, long before the rest of the army moves. And speaking of the rest of the army, Krell continues to advance with our piles of Barrow Guardians here. And let's see, the stats are 57-57. Actually not too bad, considering they're a summoned unit and aren't benefiting from a bunch of army buffs. And I was very much considering putting the 4 White Kings on foot to lead their Barrow Guardians rather than the steeds, but the thing is, the ability to reposition themselves is too valuable, in that sometimes you need them to go and hunt down single entities or chase things down, which the Barrow Guardians very much cannot do. So here we go, and the Barrow Guardians going to smash into the lines of White Lions, Rangers, and Phoenix Guard, which should be pretty interesting. The thing is, we don't care about the casualties among the Barrow Guardians at all whatsoever, so the enemy are free to fight them to their heart's content, and the Barrow Guardians will hit back pretty hard, with the Van Hel's Danse Macabre bumping them up to 96 melee attack and lowering enemy melee defense via Bone Crusher as well. Our secondary forces, our units of Karen Wraiths and our other units of Hex Wraiths, are moving in to loop around, and the enemy is way, way too focused on those Barrow Guardians for their own good. These woods It's where you woo people. These woods are very much haunted as the Kharonrites and our single unit of spirit hosts leave the cover of the trees and smash into the enemy lines of archers, and probably there are some Lothran Seaguard here as well. So good luck to them, but of course they have no chance against the Kharonrites and whatnot. The vast majority of the enemy melee continues to be held back by the White Kings and the Graveguard. And granted, we've seen a lot of Graveguard in this particular campaign due to them being Mannfred's army and having a very large presence in a few other armies, including the Red Dukes. But they're just such a fun unit. Basic infantry or not, I've always loved the Graveguard. Anyway, over on the left flank, it looks like an enemy unit of spears was caught by our Hexwrights and our Black Coach, who is racking up those kills and then bumping up its own damage as it travels together with the Hexwrights. And this is why I wanted the Black Coaches in this particular army, partly because they do have that Kharonrite driver, so they do match the aesthetic of this particular force, and partly because here they function differently than they would with Bathilda's army, wherein they can run around in the background racking up kills with the Hexwrights, and then, when ready, smash into the enemy back lines of infantry as they get held back by the Barrow Guardians. It does look like the enemy Phoenix Guard are still very much in the fight, and probably the White Lions as well. Lots of the representatives of the Phoenix King out in force here, but, well, I fear that it's just not going to be enough. The bounce power has shifted to about 70% in our favor, and a lot of our Kharonrites are peeling away now from the enemy back line, which has been absolutely obliterated. And getting ready to obliterate the enemy's melee line in turn. And of course, while we have been taking some damage to our Barrow Guardians, we've also been keeping them relatively healed up, with the exception of the one on the left flank, which has lost about half of its HP. Krell was in the middle of the blob and did duel and defeat Alistar, the White Lion here, but Alistar was only level 5, and frankly, it turned out he wasn't much of a challenge at this level to Krell, which is not so surprising. So the Banshee will hunt him down, while Krell goes after the Noble. Appears to have slightly higher stats. Not that the Noble would have had any chance against Krell either. And it's a nice big bonk. A parting bonk, I should say, as the rest of our forces move into the enemy, or smash into the rear of the enemy melee line and force the rest of the enemy units to a rout. A bloody battlefield littered with the corpses of the High Elven elite, who stood no chance against the ranks of the dead. And the big ol' armor piercing of the Barrow Guardians probably was quite nice. And I mean, look at these guys. They got 235 kills and 40,000 damage. This is a summoned unit. In fact, it makes me think that we should probably keep Barrow Guardians as a name for some of our units around. Probably for the next vampire campaign, because there will always be more vampire campaigns around here. Anyway, the battle's over. We'll chase down the enemy as best we can. We can do it off screen. All right, there we go. Very, very nice. I really enjoyed this army's dynamic with the with what separates it from the other ghostly army, the one with the sirens and the spirit host and all that, in that it's essentially half an army of undead or whites, led by the 4 White Kings, 5 if you count Krell, and then all of their summoned units of Barrow Guardians, and then the ghostly army, and the ghostly elements of the army, and doing its own thing. It's pretty neat dynamic. I like it. Anyway, we're going to occupy the Shrine of Asuryan because, well, just to add insult to injury or whatnot, and take it for ourselves. It's pretty much irrelevant as a building here, but why not? Just for the heck of it. And we'll not collect the income. We'll build defenses here. Decent likelihood that they attempt to reclaim it. Not that we really care, but we gotta at least corrupt the shrine, right? Right. Anyway, Book of Arcane student hardly matters at this point in time. We have, I think, a couple more moves to make. Manny, not you though, because you are just waiting for your final battle in Nagashazar. He's basically just gonna sit here until the end of the campaign in the next episode or two. Recruiter, we've got everybody else has moved. No, Vlad has not. Vlad, you are going to move towards Arbaal. Try to chase him down. He is not at war. Oh, I wonder if we could join war against challengers of corn. Not likely. Okay, they don't like us very much, but that's fine. We can just give them a territory or two, and it'll fix itself. Try to move towards him, I guess. I have a feeling that he might try to run, but on the other hand, the auto-resolve might be underestimating this army, which might cause him to try to actually attack Vlad, and that would be neat. He could also try to attack these guys and the piles of ogres, which might also go fairly well for him. In fact, might go better, or at least it certainly would if he had more Chaos Warriors instead of Bloodletter spam. Certainly an interesting choice for Arbaal, who buffs warriors and not bloodletters. He and the Skulltaker must have traded armies at some point. Temp Recruiter, Nazard, Hildebrand rather, Baron Steinhoff. Yes, okay, you're just a pile of random Black Knights and stuff. You're kind of out here because you're suffering attrition. Frankly, I don't really care about Kappelberg either. We just took it because it's here. And we could move southward. The main issue here is that you have the plague, and frankly, I don't want to spread it around. So let's just sit here in the sort of Imperial province here, and if it spreads to them, well, that's their problem. And it also feels kind of lawfully appropriate for us to plagueinate them a little bit. And anyway, there we go. That looks like an intern to me, so we're going to skip everything. And I do believe there is potential for a battle here, as the Golden Order might sally out of Fu Hung. Let's find out. And the inevitable death. I don't remember why I was moving you around. You were just hunting some heroes and stuff, I think? Yeah, there's no real need to do it anymore. It's not like we'll ever need the blood kisses anyway. Alright, settlement besieged. Let's see if the Golden Order moves and attacks us. Oh, no, it's just the Jade Dragon trying to be nice and friendly with us. We already have the trade agreement, no need for the non-aggression, frankly. All the diplomacy is no longer relevant. I wonder if we could reach the White Tower with Kemmler this very episode. It would be ideal. And there we go, the Golden Order will indeed sally out against the zombie pile under Helman Gorst. I was intending to fight at least one of these fights against Imperials with the zombie army, and I'm glad that they are actually willing to do it rather than run away. So we'll fight this one. It'll be a smaller fight. Let's see how many zombies they cut through before they're overwhelmed. Go. Darn, looked in the wrong place and missed the speech, but oh well. What can you do? Here we go. Helman Gorst and his zombie host. We'll see how well they do against a Imperial army. He hasn't had the pleasure, as he's been fighting other things throughout this campaign, at the very least, and not a lot of fighting regular mortals. I do like to see those zombies powered up, though. They may not hit as hard as the other army does, but 65 armor and shielded, and 26 melee defense, plus the ridiculous healing cap that they have here with Gorsty. Let's see what, if anything, those great swords can do, especially since the enemy army does not have anything like a Hellstorm rocket battery, does not have Gelt's magic to use Gehenna's Golden Hounds and Searing Doom spam along our battle lines, though admittedly they do have a Amber Wizard and a Fire Wizard, or a Bright Wizard, as well as a Master Engineer, whose explosive attacks will probably do at least some damage. Anyway, battle is a pretty simple one, tactically speaking. We move in a big old blob of zombies and ground the enemy to dust beneath their bodies. Probably going to take a little bit of time while they break through them, but they're actually doing reasonably well here. As we can see, a lot of the enemy melee units that have crashed with our line are starting to lose their HP already, down by about 15 to 20% so far. And of course, some units will be a lot easier to dish out damage to than others. The Halberdiers, unfortunately for the enemy, don't have enough armor, and the zombies will be doing higher damage to them than something like greatswords. Some great shots of the Imperials fighting. Makes me kind of miss doing Imperial campaigns. Although I would imagine that the coming attraction, whatever, the upcoming Cathan campaign will scratch that itch to some degree, because they do very much feel like Empire. Though their roster is a little bit more obnoxiously filled out in that they have options for pretty much anything. Flyers, monsters, constructs, etc., 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 that the Empire does not have. But with the land ships, I suppose the Empire is a little bit more mechanized, which is still gives it something of its own flavor. That we don't find in Cathay. Anyway, looks like we are still holding ground with the zombos, but look, I mean, just look at that healing. Look at their HP. They take a couple of hits, and then the HP pops up back to max. They take a couple hits, and they pop up back to max. Granted, especially where they're fighting enemy spears and other such weaker units. And the said weaker units probably aren't happy about fighting in these swamps either. On the rare occasion where they bring down one of these zombies with their melee, the zombie will simply quickly recover. And by the looks of it, the enemy army will not, as the bounce power has shifted to about 90% in our favor. You're wondering maybe what happened to the enemy mages and the enemy lord. Well, we do have a Vampire of Death who normally is here to provide the Dark Benediction armor piercing buff to the rest of the army with the big ol' area. But what she did is she killed the enemy lord. That's her one kill. Then she defeated the enemy amber wizard and the bright wizard, and is now killing them both at the same time, one with sword and the other with spell, which at the very least the Empire battle mages should be able to appreciate. Alright, and I really love the Cathan maps. We'll be seeing plenty of them as we when we do Cathay. But anyway, looks like the battle is pretty much ours. The bounce power is at about 85, maybe even 90% in our favor, and only a couple of units remain in the fight. I do believe a couple of units have rallied, and now it's just a matter of time as we move our slow-moving zombies towards them. 54 kills on Rob's zombies, not too bad. Yeah, without Hellstorm rockets, there's probably no way that Imperial armies would be able to deal with the zombie horde. I wonder how many Hellstorm rocket batteries it would take for us to not be able to just directly bum rush, zombie rush an enemy Imperial army. Well, we won't find out this particular turn, but who knows? Maybe Geld has some in tow, and maybe maybe Gorst will get the chance rather to test the zombies against his rockets. Alright, there we go. No problem at all. I mean, of course, zombie horde was always kind of overpowered, but yeah, their biggest issue is that they have a difficult time chasing enemies down now that they don't have that poison across the entire army thing that they used to have, which would at least enable them to chase down the enemy infantry. Anyway, it looks like the shambling horde, one of our oldest zombies by the looks of it, since they are at rank 8, did get to the most damage. Oh, actually, wait a moment. Just slightly beaten out by nameless zombies, which is also kind of appropriate as well. Anyway, we don't need to heal. We don't need the money. I guess we could murder the captives for even more battle healing cap. The most damage that army took was to the drum, so yeah. Peace treaty with Azag, no need. Bathilda has a bone to pick with you. Not really, not that you were ever a threat to Bathilda, but it's just that she wiped you out the first time and she has to wipe you out again. Peace treaty, no. Everybody wants peace now. Alright, there we go. Supervisor, Scourge of Mankind, Creator, Constructor, Seafarer, everybody getting traits, potions. Ambush foiled for Bathilda, unfortunately, but that won't make any kind of difference. Sound Torlock, ambush failed as well. Everybody is failing at their ambushes. Alright, Enshrine, Ancient Lords is up and running, and hey, more hit points for all characters faction 1, a little bit of extra damage, and not that any of this is of any real significance at this point in time. I guess we could go through this trait. Let's just go all the way through Winged Terror. It really doesn't matter. We have all the good techs at this point, minus, I suppose, the Bloodkiss techs, but not a huge deal either way. We have the two main important ones out of those as well. Although I do like the speed one. You know, let's get the speed one. If nothing else, speed is always very nice to have. Yeah. Alrighty, now, Kemmler. Are you able to reach the White Tower from here? Probably not. I think you would be able to land, but you wouldn't be able to head there. And the other sort of settlements are kind of in your way. We could take Lothern as well if we wanted to, but there's no real need. Yeah, look at that. Look at our allies landing here and doing things. It's so bizarre. I also noticed that Alariel is holding the Sword of Cain here, is she not? She is indeed. She is indeed holding the Sword of Cain. For now, though, Red Duke, you're going to grab the Shrine of Cain here. We're saving your battle against Jean de Bain for the legendary units. You can just auto-resolve this. A little bit more damage to the various Graveguard than I would have liked, but anyway. We'll occupy the place, and we don't actually care about the Shrine. I wonder, does it also take us like a billion turns? Yeah, 10 turns, 12 turns. I don't think the campaign's gonna last 12 turns. There's probably no need for it. How much is the Shrine of Cain worth to you? Enough to make you a vassal, Morathi. I think we'll take it then. You can leave the place. Oh, actually you can't leave the place because you'll suffer attrition, and I assume you won't be able to switch... Yeah, you can't switch to Necromantic Ritual. Alright, fair enough. Just sit in Shrine of Cain for 1 turn. We still have to move Recruiter here with the 2 legendary units forward, so keep going this way. I'm going to assume that these guys can't catch you here. I mean, I suppose we could have somebody move to, not so much reinforce, but to sort of escort you, but whatever. And we could have Kem just raise or sack a bunch of territories on his way to White Tower. Let's do that. Go to Angariel. Since going by sea won't work, auto-resolve it. And sack it. And stop moving. Oh, you're actually moving the right way for once. Well. Just screw me over then. Let's go to Port Ellis Store next. And do the same exact thing. Auto-resolve it. Yes. Yeah, it's more damage, but what can you do? Sack it as well. Now you're gonna go back. And this time, of course, I miss you. And we're just out of range of the White Tower. Oh, well, not a big deal. We'll move right through it in Necromantic Ritual stance to guarantee that we heal up, and then we'll take the White Tower next turn, and probably with an auto-resolve by the looks of it. We'll maybe get another fight going here somewhere, but... well, this is all not something we care about. Anyway, Shrine of Asuryan, let's build the corpse pile there just because we can. Manny, okay, you're stuck where you are. Let's see if anybody else needs to do anything. Now, Count Orlok, you're going to besiege Karak Norn here, and you'll auto-resolve it with the other units, or the other little armies moving in to help, just so that you can auto-resolve it without losing too many things. So you're going to go into Necromantic Ritual and reinforce, and this will wipe Durthu out for good. Ankadon von Senkenhoff and your zombie pile, the second zombie pile. 45 weapon strength on regular zombies and 39 melee attack without even considering the buffs that they have. It's pretty neat, I gotta say. They hit almost as hard as Crypt Ghouls do, which are frenzy damage dealer type unit. Anyway, auto-resolve this. I assume nobody will be destroyed. Yeah, no, we're fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we lost 3.2 thousand zombies doing that, but that was always going to happen. And get by the place, and with that, Durthu is gone for good. Moan Daddy, Iron Curse Icon, sure, hold on to it, I don't care. Student, Barded Nightmare, Storm of Necromancy, Arguelon destroyed, and there we are. Frankly, they lasted longer than you would have thought. Ludwig von Deal, you're moving towards Nuln. Necromantic Ritual stance, like, oh wow, you need to channel, bud. You don't suffer attrition here by the looks of it, so we can move towards Nuln and channel. Wait, if we pop this right, will it give us chance of winds of magic changing? Power reserve is only for faction leaders army, unfortunately, but we might as well use it. I mean, it's not like we're using any of the other rights. Go for it. Oh, we got this up and running next turn, but this also kind of does nothing for us. I mean, it would give us a massive influx of money. You know what? Maybe we'll save it. I want to see how much money it'll give us in a single turn, just out of curiosity, if nothing else. All right, Wilmar. Okay, by the looks of it, you're going to be auto-resolving. I just want to see if there's any other battles nearby, because most of the sort of non-battle moving around, we can probably just leave. Ah, I see Bastion Nightbane is here, and I guess Arbaal is trying to avoid Vladi. Now, Vlad, this is probably fightable, but at the same time, surprised that this guy's avoiding. Okay, you know what? You go in here in ambush stance. I think Arbaal is kind of stuck where he is, so you stay here. He can attempt to cross the river. Oh, you know what? Don't even ambush stance, because then you might force him into fighting you. He's stuck here. If he crosses the river, Vlad will chase him down. So, Vlad, we're gonna have you kill off Bastion Nightbane. If it's auto-resolvable, we'll auto-resolve it. Yeah, and you know what? This might damage your army sufficiently that Arbaal will be more willing to fight you, so might not be a bad thing. We will, however, heal up because the little doggos are fairly beat up there. And let's see. Put you into Necromantic Ritual stance, I guess, or Channeling stance. It does not really matter. Ambush defense chance, you're not going to get ambush. Leadership might help keep the doggos alive, because I am thinking that Arbaal will attempt to capitalize on this. Let's get the leadership. Necromantic Ritual, stay right here. I'm going to assume that Arbaal is going to go after you. He can't go this way, he can't cross the river, he's stuck. He's absolutely stuck here. Lovely. We will auto-resolve these guys, I think. I mean, they do have some stuff, but not worth fighting. I mean, yeah, there's some decent stuff here, but let's face it, they have no chance against Bathilda. What else do we have as potentials? To be honest, I'd love to end the turn if we could just... Oh, wait. Let's see what's going on down here. One moment. Also, where were you going? Oh, right, you wanted to bring the other Blood Knights to Luther Harkin. And you know what? I think we're not going to bother with it. Just sit here. He'll be fine. He doesn't need it. Or Wallach Harkin, rather. Wallach... Still got vampirates on my mind. Go here to Hidden Landing. And land there. Go figure. Auto-resolve for obvious reasons. Damage to the White King and the Vampire. Okay. I wasn't expecting that, but okay. Occupy. And you'll still heal to full regardless. And I assume we can't raise any Blood Knights here, but who knows? There might be a battle marker around here somewhere that's a decent one. Got 3.2k here. I wonder, maybe if we auto-resolve it... Oh, yeah, okay, you're gonna sail away. Actually, speaking of sailing, where is Balthazar Gelt? We should probably sail down the canal to try to move towards him. I would like to defeat him with Helman Gorst or with Wallach. Either one would work. Occupy. Alrighty, and Broken Lands of Tianli is our ours. I don't think it matters what we do with the building. I'm just going to ignore it as it's no longer relevant. You know what, let's... If we move everybody, wait. Friedrich von Carlsbruck, you can land here, but there is no location that's really worth fighting. Maybe the Southern Sentinels? There's a big old pile of enemies there, if nothing else. Alright, you know what? Land here at the Mangrove Coast. We won't bother occupying it. There's really no need. And what do we have here? Tahenowin himself at kayaks. We haven't fought billions of skinks yet. And... maybe we'll head him down here if we have time before the end of the campaign. That's, it's an option. Gustav Grigorovich has already had a lot of screen time. Well, although frankly, to be fair, Friedrich has as well, and has earned a spot in my heart and in the annals of the community canon. Anyway, you guys, I guess you could take Urkathal. Frankly, we could just peace out with these guys if we really wanted to, so that we could stop moving if we really wanted to. And there's no real need to go up north anymore, because this faction is effectively defeated. I mean, I guess we could just grab Blood Peak and Firemouth and then peace out with them. Maybe that's the way to do it. Yeah, fine. You're gonna go to Blood Peak, like so, with this little army. And we'll have Mukil reinforce. And next turn we'll just peace out with them so that the end terms are faster, and that's so that they don't interfere. Like so. Oh, you have the corruption. Right. You go here, and then you're gonna go here.
Destroy them. Kill them. Raise them.
And auto-resolve it. Alright, Alright, nothing is going to get destroyed, occupy, and then I guess that one will be next turn, and we'll peace out with Tamarkan just because we can, and just because his main stack has been defeated. This is going to be an auto-resolve. You know what, frankly, by the looks of it... Well, you know what, I'd like to pick up that book, even if it is an auto-resolve, so we will... Where was Wilhelm going again? To Elspeth, perhaps? I mean, we could grab Nuln with him, but Ludwig is there as well. So, you know what, let's move him towards Elspeth. Now, these guys might react to attacking us as soon as we declare war on Nuln, which, you know, fair enough. Fair enough, Bathilda, let's quickly auto-resolve the remnants of Azag's forces here. Is Kirik Raziag defended? If it is so poorly. No move, you went, yeah, close defeat. It's not really a close defeat, it's just the game lying because it likes to lie sometimes. It's underestimating Bathilda's army, like it did the first, like, 50 fights that she had, and just continuing to do so, but it will make no real difference. You can go here as well. Can you? Wait. Reinforce, there we go. Pyrrhic victory, and none of these units will die. We're not going to bother fighting this. This is a waste of Bathilda's time. And even the auto-resolve barely hurt her, except with the exception of one of the coaches. Go figure. At least it's an unnamed one. Alright, enemy killing Mel, blah 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 blah. Ghoul King Kenneris and Recruiter got some stuff that we can ignore, and there we go. Bone Rattle is destroyed, mission successful. Irrelevant to us at this point as well. And yeah. I really love for Vlad to fight Arbaal, so I would really want to end the turn. But if we can't catch him, we won't be able to, though, so we'll just try to end it as fast as possible. I do still want to move these guys around, though, because if we don't, then, you know, there might be enemies attacking us next turn. We're not going to do building or anything like that. It's not relevant anymore. It's just a matter of closing the distance, so with the final fights of the campaign, anybody else need to move? Herman Wolfdrake does not. John Doe is guarding his location as he should be. I don't remember who Adrian Sigibald is. Oh, right, you're this guy. You can just sit there. You got... Oh, I should have actually auto-resolved this. Lovely. And occupy, and this faction is destroyed as well now. Yeah, just keep the spell shield. Oh, they're not destroyed. Do they have another oh, right, they have the fire mouth. All right, fair enough. Well, they won't have it for long. Let's say. All right, Baron von Steinhoff was next, or Steinhoff without the von was next. You just sit here as needed. Who knows if somebody may come down from, you know, Archaon, Azazel, whatever. Ghoul King Kenneris is fine, doesn't need to move anymore. Rodrika, Vzu, Krugenheim, just stay there in case Arbaal attempts to attack you guys, and it looks like that's it. All right, so let's quickly end the turn, and let's see if we can't get that fight against Arbaal or somebody. End turn. And then pick up the book. What I'd like to do is have every, so this episode pick up a book, next episode pick up the book with the final battle for the Red Duke, and then the final episode to have the fight with Manny and Nagashazar. And if we could pick up the Sword of Cain, just, you know, the principle of it, between the episodes, that would be great as well. Ooh, Marathi, you want a non-aggression pact? We're not going to do that right now because you're going to be vassalized next turn. Maybe I should have done the non-aggression pact for the slight bonus relationship, but it really doesn't matter. Alright, I do notice that Arbaal did not in fact attack us, but considering that he was stuck, there's a decent likelihood that he won't be able to run, so hopefully it won't matter. Alright, first of all, the important thing. Alright, upkeep production, those guys, True Knight, right expires. Ooh, I wanted to see this. Hellsteed, this is great. So, control -10. I mean, it's only for one turn, it's not a big deal. I want to see just how much money this will give us, because I'm curious. We get 357,000 gold in a single turn. Pretty okay. Pretty okay. Anyway, you have... Oh! You have an army at Torfanu, eh? And you know what? Oh, man, I really wanted to... So here's what I'm thinking. If this army, together with the forces at the White Tower of Hoeth, may actually attempt to destroy us. Oh, we can't attack it anyway because... Oh, well, screw me. Damn. Okay, well, I was going to give them a chance to actually sally and then move towards us anyway, so why the heck not? A recruiter... Ah, you're just a little bit too far away from Jean de Bain, unfortunately. but it's fine. What I would like to do is this. You're gonna go here, and you're gonna prepare to attack him. And who knows, maybe Dastan Coldeye will stay here and might attack you as well. Alright, and the way we want to do this is this. I guess, wait, you are a Graveguard with polearm, yes? Pretty sure you are. Yeah, halberd infantry, meaning we'll trade to the Unburied and Forsaken Company. Alright, Unburied and Forsaken Company, you and you. And for the final battle, we'll give you Black Grail Knights, the name, the, I don't know, Forsaken Company, and the Unburied. There we go. I wouldn't normally do this, but obviously since these guys are actual, they're supposed to be with us here, and their names deserve to be in the final fights for these guys as we check out the legendary units. Should be pretty fun. Anyway, Shrine of Cain, real quick, to you. Enjoy. Vassalage, and you know what? Just keep your money, we don't care. And you're also at war with Avalorn. Yeah, stay at war. Oh, wait. Now you're at war with everybody. Including Tyrion here. But hey, if the Red Duco wants to bring down Tyrion, he is perfectly capable of doing so as well. Alrighty, well, Arbaal then. Since we couldn't get the book, I guess we'll try to get 2 books next turn. Arbaal is nearby. Let's see if when he tries to run, he'll attempt to cross the river. I'm not going to bother with the points, just attack him. He's actually not going to run. Alright, fine, fair enough. Vlad versus Arbaal. This will be the final fight of this battle, and we'll do 2 books next episode, and then Nagashazar afterwards. Oh, we might, if they're all in range, we might even be able to finish off the campaign next episode. I'll think about it, we'll see. Let's go.
Quashed! Let the slaughter begin!
Alright, well, the slaughter had begun long before you had finished or completed that sentence, Vlad. Anyway, here we go, Arbaal and his... Oh, wow, Vlad. That's a lot of throwing axes, though I don't think he really cares, but he is busy posing a little bit, so even with the axes, still looks pretty awesome. Anyway, looks like the enemy will start the battle by summoning Bloodletters right on top of our units of Sylvanian crossbows, who, with the rest of our army, are deployed on one flank of the enemies. The Bloodletters will cut their way through at least a few of the Sylvanians before the Vargeists that were guarding them were able to touch down. But no big deal. Out here we have some Fleshhounds, and generally speaking, I mean, this army is piles of Bloodletters and Fleshhounds. So it's not going to be a particularly threatening army, and so we can feel free to kind of screw around and just engage with whatever enemies we please. And by the looks of it, our dire doggos have torn those Fleshhounds apart like nobody's business, and those guys are pretty much done. Vlad has moved towards Arbaal and is attempting to get him to engage, but it looks like Arbaal would rather run, leaving a giant pile of Bloodletters to try to deal with Vlad. Of course, they have little chance of bringing him down without Arbaal, and we're going to try to slow Arbaal down with the Melkot's Mystifying Miasma, and then we'll have the ladies block him off so that he can't run and escape Vlad. As soon as he's stopped, as soon as he's engaged, we'll leave Vlad to duel him while the Vampiresses go take care of other enemies, as it does look like our poor little line of Sylvanian crossbows are very much getting rushed. We're using the Vargulf together with the Blood Knights, who love seeing those Blood Knights working together. The lances held up high and coming down upon the Fleshhounds, who get torn apart with every blow. I'll never get enough of Vamps. Beautiful work from the Blood Knights, as the Fleshhounds and the Bloodletter units here are pretty much done. And just to keep it interesting, we peeled away our unit of Blood Dragon Warriors by themselves, who have moved into the huge pile of Bloodletters with no support other than a single Vargulf to provide them the bolstered attack that it does, while Vlad is... probably going to ignore that Blood Reaper and continue to try to move towards Arbaal, who really just does not want to engage him. Alright, it looks like the battle has shifted to about 90% in our favor. Our Blood Dragon Warriors still very much in the fight, though the armor-piercing weapon damage of the Exalted Bloodletters is certainly starting to tell, as a few of their number have dropped. but they will continue taking bloodletters out for as long as they can, and then we can simply back them off and heal them up. I just wanted to make sure they got to play a little bit without the Blood Knights taking too much of the spotlight here, or the range units, because shortly we'll probably tell the range units to stop firing, as the Blood Knights have arrived, as Vlad has probably or nearly closed the distance with Arbaal. And as the battle is very nearly ours. And yes, we could charge our doggos into the back line of these bloodletters, but there isn't any real need. The enemy army is effectively defeated already. It's not a strong enough army here. And Arbaal, you willing to fight Vlad now? Take it a little bit of a while, but Vlad did manage to get through, and despite all the armor-piercing damage of the bloodletters, Vlad doesn't really care because he's pretty insanely tanky. And Arbaal will be defeated after a couple more blows by the looks of it. 700 HP, 100 HP, and one last hit from... I couldn't tell. I think it was one of the Blood Knights that did manage to bring him down. With the fall of Arbaal, it looks like the rest of his army is wavering. Army losses and the Lord's defeat has told, and now it's just a matter of time while the rest of the Bloodletters are banished. And of course, the Blood Dragon Warriors have made it back into the fray, healed up to some degree, though not full, but that's alright. They did their work and had plenty of action against the enemy melee units. And of course, if I can, I'll do I'll do a final battle for Wallach Harkin as well, who has plenty of those Blood Dragon Warriors as well. And there we are, a lovely little fight. Vlad's army still feels decently different from the rest of our forces, as it is such a mix of units, and plus, of course, those Sylvanian crossbows, who Vlad goes out of his way to protect. Alright, there we go. Obviously the enemy army wasn't super threatening, so we had the opportunity to sort of just screw around in this particular battle, but I really wanted to make sure that Vlad not only had defeated Arbaal, or not only Archaon, but Arbaal as well. Nice job, and looks like one of his Blood Knights at 32k probably did the most damage, although the Blood Dragon Warriors did keep pace. They did also suffer severe damage while fighting the blob of enemy bloodletters, simply because, once again, Vlad's army, we made it sort of like a more dangerous army than we normally might, in the sense that they have no supporting necromancers, so no corpse carts and no mortis engine to keep everybody constantly healing. But it is fun, and it's not like Vlad has been struggling despite the lack of those critical supports. Anyway, and with that, we will... I don't know, murder captives doesn't really matter. Oh, damn, I forgot to see what the defeat trait was. And 4 leadership and vigor loss reduction. I mean, I guess the vigor loss reduction is nice to have in SFO in particular, although if it's the same trait in vanilla, it's kind of lackluster, I'd say. But anyway, with that, folks, we are out of time. I'm going to call the episode here. I'll do at least some of the admin between episodes, and then next time, I guess, since we can fight this episode, we'll grab the White Tower of Hoeth book, and there's a decent likelihood that, assuming no other battles get in the way, we'll grab both books, take it to 8 out of 8, and if we have time, we'll do the Nagashazar finale, and if not, we'll do it the episode after that. So stay tuned for 1 to 2 more episodes of Mannfred. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.